Good morning, students. This video is on the paper School Management, Unit 4. This is the continuation of my first video, which I posted earlier. In the last video, we were discussing about the role of headmaster in institutional planning as an administrator. Now, in this video, we will discuss about the various roles played by the headmaster as an administrator, like budgeting, mobilization of resources, organization of staff meeting, maintenance of different registers and records. Budgeting. Budget is not a new word for you. You have heard and seen in the newspapers and TVs about the word budget. Every year, the finance minister used to submit the budget report in the parliament. In the same way, the headmaster also have to prepare the budget every year. So, school budget means showing the income and expenditure of the school, covering all items of income and all items of expenditure. It should have all the types of income and all the types of expenditure. Steps in budget formulation. There are 3 steps in budget formulation. First one is estimation, next preparation, and third one is implementation. So first thing is the headmaster should prepare an estimation. So how he should prepare an estimation? He should keep in mind the previous year income and expenditure under plan and non-plan incomes and expenditures. So plan expenditure is usually identified with quantitative expansion as well as quantitative improvement. Quantitative expansion means building new classrooms, and qualitative improvement means buying new teaching aids for the school like smart board, new books for the library, like that. So, and non-planned expenditure is the committed expenditure on the existing system. It is already committed and it is existing in the system, like salary of the staff, maintenance of the school, etc. So keeping all this in his mind, he should estimate what will be the income, what will be the expenditure, and what will be the income of the school. He should have it in mind. After analyzing and estimating that, he should go for preparation. So based on the plan and non-plan estimates, budget should be prepared. So budget of preparation includes income and expenditure under recurring and non-recurring heads. So income should both recurring and non-recurring, and expenditure both recurring and non-recurring. So income side, if you look at income side, it includes tuition fees, special fees, rent, sale of product of SUPW, articles, donations, interest, etc. Expenditure side, salary of teachers and non-teaching staff, non-recurring expenditures such as purchase of furniture, equipment, construction of additional classrooms, etc. So recurring expenditure includes salaries and other contingent expenditures. So after preparing this budget, he should go for implementation. The headmaster should plan the budget and place it before the management for approval. In case of private school, he should place it before the management, and in case of government school, he should place it before the local body, schools, or concerned educational officer. So for approval. After getting approval, he should go for implementation, and he should be very careful in implementing the budget plans. So next one is appraisal. So here, usually appraisal should be done every year. So in the beginning of every year, you should see what had happened in the last year. So every year he is preparing the budget, and he should see whether after the completion of that year, he should see how the budget was successful, whether the expenditure incurred is totally related to the identified objectives of school, whether the expenditure was incurred as per the plan. So he should see how the income and expenditures are spent. He should appraise it. So based on the appraisal, he will go for next year's estimation. Now we will see the precautions to be taken while preparing the budget. So what are the things that the headmaster should see while preparing the budget? So first thing is, he should be updated. The headmaster should be updated about the plan and non-plan items of income and expenditure. So what will be the income and what will be the expenditure should be updated. Then only he can prepare the budget. Second thing, he should prepare the budget with the cooperation of the staff. He should seek the cooperation of the staff. With their cooperation, he should prepare the budget. So third thing is, before preparing the budget, he should get the budget proposals and estimations from each department, and it should be discussed thoroughly in the staff meeting. Then he should go for budget preparation. And fourth one, when the school is in need of additional fund, he should submit or ask it with reasons. He should give proper reasons for the additional fund. And whenever there is an expenditure, he should have a voucher. So the voucher should be submitted to the auditor at every year. And he should attend to auditors' objections of previous year and submit the rectification report. So sometimes the auditors, when they go for auditing, the auditors will be objecting about some expenditures or incomes, and they will seek for rectification. The headmaster cannot say, should submit the rectification report, and he should not prepare deficit budget. So he should prepare a surplus budget, not a deficit budget. The budget should be surplus. Planning, programming, and budgetary system. Advanced countries have adopted a new strategy in planning the school budget called planning, programming, and budgeting. So here, the first thing they have is assessment of needs. They assess the needs of the school. So need is being assessed in as a first step. Then second thing, they define the educational objectives and decide the methods and strategies of evaluation of educational objectives. So the schools, they decide their objectives, decide the methods and strategies of evaluation of education objectives. The third thing, after defining the educational objectives and deciding the methods, they prioritize the programs aimed at achieving the objectives. They give priority to the programs that will help them to achieve the objectives. And fourth one, restricting budget expenditure to the identified educational purpose and objectives. They don't spend money for unwanted things. They restrict the budget amount only to the identified educational purpose and objectives. So here say they plan, program, and budget. So they plan, they assess the needs, and they define the educational objectives, decide the methods of achieving the educational objectives, giving priority to the programs that will help in achieving the objectives, and they spend money only for the important objectives. So far we saw the role of headmaster in institutional planning and budgeting. Now we will see the third role that the headmaster should play. The third role is mobilization of resources. So first thing is mobilization of community resources. So what is community resources? So if you look at the community in your surrounding, you could see many skilled professionals are there, technicians are there, scientists and university teachers are there. You could make use of them to enrich the students' knowledge. If you go and meet them, they will be glad to participate in the school activities, and they will be happy to help the students. So for example, if you are teaching the students about the bank, the activities of the bank, you can go and approach the bank manager, and he may come to the school and he will explain about the role of bank in financial sector. Other example, If you are teaching the impurities of water, you can call a person from Waterworks department and he will be helping the students in enriching their knowledge. So since if the headmaster is making use of the community resources and utilize it for the school, then there will be a rapport with the community and school, and ultimately it will lead to the development and improvement of the school. Second thing, mobilization of physical and material resources. So mobilization of physical and material resources include the availability of teaching aids like tape recorder, videotape, film strips, slides, projector and chart and map, and library books, magazines, journals, bulletins, etc. So you can mobilize these things. You can buy these things from the market, or you can ask as a donation from the community. So you should mobilize these physical and material resources, and it should be brought to the teachers' knowledge so that they will enrich them in the classroom instruction. Third one is mobilization of financial resources. It is the most important thing. So here the headmaster should see, he cannot depend upon the management for everything. Sometimes the school may depend upon the community for financial resources. So like donations for raising the school building, or some fund can be mobilized from the community. The fourth role of the headmaster is organization of staff meeting. The headmaster should arrange for staff meeting at regular intervals, at least once in a month. He should have a staff meeting. So he should make sure that all the staff members are attending the meeting. And during the staff meeting, there should be cooperation among the staff, and there should prevail academic atmosphere. It should not be like some chat box. There should be an academic atmosphere. And staff meeting should be a forum for mutual discussion and exchange of ideas. So here it's not that one or two persons are dominating others. Mutual discussion, and there should be a place for exchange of ideas. Mostly the staff meeting can discuss about the problems relating to discipline and institutional planning, annual plan, school budget, organization of curricular and co-curricular activities, conducting of examination, and other administrative atmospheres can be discussed. And meeting should be in a democratic line. That is, all the teachers should have an opportunity to discuss, to express their ideas. And there should be a secretary for keeping the minutes and recording the proceedings of the meeting. Mostly, the headmaster is chairing the meeting. Sometimes the department heads can also preside over the meetings. And when you are conducting the meeting agenda should be given to the teachers, so that the teachers will have time to think over the agenda, and they will prepare themselves for the meeting. So, and the headmaster should help in smooth conducting of the meeting. The fifth role of the headmaster is maintenance of different registers and records. Every school has to maintain various records and registers to make the process of administration efficient. So there are many reasons that the school has to maintain the registers and records. The reasons are to provide accurate statistical report to the parents, society, and government, to check irregularity in the attendance of students and staff, to present the entire school history of the child, to apprise the effectiveness of the instructional program to the authorities and users, to transmit history of school and children and their progress over a period of time, to reduce retardation and failure to the minimum. To have proper control and coordination between HRD elements, infrastructure facilities and budget. Kinds of records: general records, educational records, administrative records, financial records. The general records: school calendar, logbook, visitors book. In school calendar, they used to mention the various activities that are to be carried out in the school, important dates and events that are to be celebrated in the school or mentioned in the school calendar. And mostly they used to give the beginning of the academic year and the date of examinations that to be held, and government holidays, local holidays will be mentioned in the school calendar. The second one is logbook. Logbook is the one where the activities of the school are being registered and recorded, and they used to have a record of the activities that are carried out in the academic year. And third one is visitors book. Whenever there is a visitor to the school, they used to give their opinion and ideas about the school when they visited the school. Educational records. Educational records include general timetable, teacher's timetable, institutional plan, teacher's diary, lesson plan or unit plan and annual plans, scholastic achievement record, progress cards of the students, transfer certificate, conduct certificate, bona fide certificate. Administrative record. Administrative records include admission register, teachers attendance register, students attendance register, service register of teaching and non-teaching staff, casual leave register and other leave registers, punishment registers, inward and outward register. Inward and outward register means the incoming letters, the school, whatever letter is received by the school and what are the letters that were being sent from the school are being registered in this register, inward and outward register. Financial registers. Financial registers include acquaintance roll, daily cash book, main cash book ledger, bill register, contingent register, register of scholarship, tuition fees collection register, special fees collection register, stock register of furniture and equipment, issue register, library accession register, library issue register, stationery register, breakage register of equipments. So far we were discussing about the role of headmaster in budgeting, mobilization of resources, organization of staff meeting, maintenance of different registers and records. In the next class we will be discussing about the role of DISE and school discipline.